This is the most anticipated train game in 2024. Thanks for a like and enjoy the reviewing. Well, let's start our review with an atomic mix. Steel Republic Rail Defender is a hybrid of railway logistics strategy, base building, and tower defense. The visual style in the style of the Cold War era of the mid-20th century. You'll be surrounded by diesel locomotives, kinetic weapon, heavy industry, and light off-road vehicle. You start each trip with limited resources and you need to allocate locomotives to gather resources and build defensive position. To win, you need to think of the best option for resources, logistic, and defense against enemy raid. How do we protect our caravans? We deploy tyrants, mobile outposts, and forward bases along the railway system. The better the defense system, the more resources you can gather from the map. The game is currently in active development. In Trade Valley world, where I invited to lead the Industrial Revolution, ride the steam engine and turn a very modest company into a prosperous monopolist, wrapping the whole planet in its rails. Let your imagination run wild and create your own railway network. Build and transport empire. Make sure your train run on optimal routes and arrive on time, and automate deliveries. There is a railway management game in the spirit of Railroad Tycoon 2 and Sid Meier Railroads. Set in the time of the early 20th century, visit the country of the new and old era, USA, England, Greece, and Egypt. Solve the most unexpected and seemingly unbelievable logistic problem. Both single-player and cooperative modes are supported. Competitive duos support 4-player with equal starting condition, where only one will turn into a big boss and lead the railway empire. The development team consists of 8 people and has been developing the game for 2 years. A full-fledged edition is planned. Ready to go? Then hop on the train and let's go! Roguelike train. I've said before that roguelikes, they everywhere. The player in the role of train conductor, traveling through a post-apocalyptic frozen world, a kind of Frostpunk combined with TV series Through the Snow. The task is quite usual for such world, to survive, but how? We choose a route where we go. Passing one of the points of interest, we get the opportunity to choose one of 3 cars or carriages. I'm reminded of Ticket to Ride game. The passengers of the train are diligent in their task, depending on the type of carriage. If the happiness is not properly taken care of, then can get rid of the protagonist and drop his fans to the sharks. Which one? Probably to the ice one. The game has the usual mechanic, nice graphic and immersive sound. True Conductor is too serious, but it's not so surprising in such world. But there is something that warms the soul. The game is free to download and you can play right now. So, are you ready for next railway adventure? This is a Railroad Corporation 2. One of the most important features of the game is the main character. This is not just a nominal person, but a character that affects many parameters of the train and the company. There are several branches of development for the character. For example, the financier makes research and properly maintenance cheaper and increase the income from certain goods. The engineer reduces the price of laying railway track, building tunnels, bridges, and etc. The surveyor will provide intelligence for the construction of enterprises and their maintenance, and the recruiter will provide cheap personnel to the HR development, as well as reduce the cost of research. Stations and factories are the backbone of the golden age of industrial progress. The emphasis in the building system is on improving station, and everything is pretty standard. All sorts of increasing is repair and refueling speed, as well as their cost. With enterprises, everything is much simpler. You can improve only the warehouse, but enterprises don't really need it. It's quite interesting to play as it is. As for the graphic, the game was made by an indie studio, so the graphic turned out to be nice for its budget. There's inherent bugs such as passage of train through each other. But in general, the game will appeal to those who wanted to get a challenge in the genre of micromanagement and to those who would like to just relax. What is art? It's creating a transport empire so that you can just contemplate the beautiful sight of the train, car that earn you a million against the backdrop of forest, beach and other surroundings. So, Art of the Rail is a spiritual remake of the classic Transport Tycoon game. where you have to build a profitable transport network and develop the economy of your world. This can be done either by yourself in single-player game or in multiplayer, cooperative or even competitive mode. The developers have tried very hard to make an interesting game. Since this is an indie project, the graphics are low poly and quite simple. However, this makes it easy to optimize the game. According to the development statement, the amount of vehicle on the map will be many times more than other economic strategy can afford. Art of the Rail will launch the first locomotive already this year. Have you ever tried playing Flavor Roulette? When you get a flavor of ice cream or a flavor of snow? Yeah. Now let's move on to the next game, Sweet Transit. The game is a line of flavors. Why a line? Because at first everything will be sweet and good, but as soon as you get the first nut flavor, everything will be worse. In the game you have to work out the logistic very carefully or you won't pass the next task and you have to start over. It's a train wreck. Sweet Transit starts with procedurally generated map creation. From there you place your first warehouse, first village center and first business before finally connecting it all with railways. As you complete more tasks, you gradually unlock more opportunities. Successfully building a coal-fired power station means you get access to your first train because you now have a source of fuel. Attracting enough people to your village means you open up a market and connecting the world through a network of rails. As for the environments, they are vibrant, bright and colors. Nice building and even the deserts seem to breathe. The game quality recycles Sid Meier old railroad tycoon series, which used a similar idea of connecting supply center with train in a huge logistic network. The bluesly American soundtrack makes it all seem very complete. I recommend trying out a Yamaha film called Sweet Transit. Time to reduce co-op game lovers with the return of Unrailed. This year sees the release of Unrailed 2 back on track. A time of chaos and railways. As before, we have to build a road for our constantly traveling train on a randomly generated map. How? By shoveling and demolishing every environment we come across. Players have access to various abilities and wagons that will change the way material and transported. Of course, there is a few biomes and bosses where without them. If the train goes too far ahead without rails, everything will go downhill, destroying precision cargo. What are the innovations of the second part? Terrain conductor for creation custom map, some train customization option and very cool heads for your characters. So, ready for some chaos railway construction? Then we're coming your way. I am sure many people associate trains with the post-apocalypse. The next game is not an exception. It's Iron Roads. But the post-apocalypse is not like that. Humanity has been wiped out of the face of the planet, but the animals have survived and are now thriving. Caesar is home. However, the animals are too afraid to travel or even leave the villages they have taken over. It's up to you to put life back on the rails again. Create railway networks that connected cities. Lay track and set the order of train to connect them as efficiently as possible. The important thing is to create a transport system with the needs to preserve the environment so that it doesn't follow the people. Iron Roads is actively in development with a release planned for 2024. Have you ever broken a vase of flavor as a child? Realizing you were going to get hit and got out of the situation? For example, you threw the cat at the scene and the crime, so that is, would get dirty paws and leave cat footprints. I can see the smirk on your face. You're a good shot. The cat got his revenge in your slippers afterwards, but that's okay. Such as your Traffic Train Manager game will like it, because here your main bread is to breed trains for money, good forbid, just to divorce each other. So you are a switchman who has to lead and direct train on a certain track. At first everything is quite simple, but then the number of track will increase, and Mother Nature will interfere with you, sending meteorites, tornadoes, floods and other delights right at you. All these fun supported cooperative up to 4 players, so if you have a company of shooters, then invite them to a fun adventure puzzle game Train Traffic Manager. Riding trains is a cool thing, but someone has to maintain them. I remember a game about a surgeon simulator when I accidentally cut off a patient's ribs. Oh, times. In the game Train Mechanic Simulator 2024, we played for a mechanic who just like that restore and sell steel locomotives. We can spend the money we earn to expand the capability of the workshop and improve our skill. The biggest challenge for you will be the assembly of the locomotive themselves. After all, this simulation is as close to realism as possible. There are more than 3000 unique parts in the game, and you will have to work hard to fully understand the device of each locomotive. Well, as soon as you collect it, you will have the opportunity to ride it and find out if everything is in order. Doesn't it knock? Then it's for sale. Train Mechanic Simulator 2024 will be available later this year. A new train game is gaining momentum in the rail gaming community, with a Railroader scoring 97 positive reviews on Steam after launching on 7 December in early access. A simulation of driving train as well as routing them, selecting cargo and passengers. Railroader will appeal to both simulation fans and those who enjoy games like Euro and American Truck Simulator. The game is set in the Appalachia region in an era when American Railway were transitioned from steam to diesel-electric engine, a transitional era, in the language of railway enthusiasts. Railroader focus on everyday railway operation, where we will have tasks not only to drive the train, but also to work with traffic control system as a dispatcher. The game has a cooperative and single-player option. Each of you can choose your role. Someone will be a dispatcher or even a switchman as a train traffic manager, and someone will be a driver. In the end, this distribution of roles reveals a cooperative in a different way. If you already want to pull the lever as quickly as possible to hear the sound of choo-choo, then install Railroader, because the game is already available in early access. Times of Progress is a city-building game set during the Industrial Revolution. You control a city that is undergoing rapid changes due to the emergence of new technology and a surge in labor productivity. The transport infrastructure must evolve as the city grows. Goods are automatically transported by cart, but this is slow and ineffective. Build railway to optimize different routes or reach new resources on the map by building harbors of tunnels. If you look at our city from the outside, it's endless factory that we connected by railway train. The game offers randomly starting condition, upgrades and rewards to choose from, and the maps are procedurally generated, executed in the cute pixel graphic. It's scheduled for release at early 2025. Which game you liked or which you didn't? Tell about right in the comments. If you liked the video, I will be glad to like and subscribe.